Welcome to the second part of fall protection. I'm Markus Wesaw and I'll be your instructor once again. As always, my email and telephone number are listed on the screen, and so if you'd like to call me or email me about a question you have, feel free to do so at your discretion. Let's go ahead and move on. The objectives are here if you want to look at those again. If it's been a while since you've looked at the first part of fall protection and you're moving on to the second part now, go ahead and hit pause and review those. And we'll go ahead and move on here to the general industry 4-foot fall protection requirement. Now I want to point your attention to the right hand side of this image. What you see is you can see that we have an open floor and then we have a standard guardrail system implemented. And we have a height of, let's call it 4 more feet. And if you look at the left hand side, we have an open floor here and there's no standard guardrail system. So an employee that were to be working up on this open floor would have no protection from falling 4 more feet. So as a general rule, anytime an employee has the potential to fall 4 or more feet in height, we need to look at implementing some type of fall protection system. Now in this case, we clearly see that it makes sense to put up a standard guardrail system, and that solves the problem altogether. And so again, open-sided floors, platforms, runways, or wall openings 4 or more feet above adjacent floor or ground levels must be guarded by a railing. And the main exception is where there is an entrance to a ramp, stairway, or fixed ladder, and for obvious reasons that just allows us better access. There are a couple other instances where the 4-foot fall protection requirement works well, and in the maritime industry for longshoring and stevedoring, where there are exposures to falls 4 or more feet from a floor or wall opening or waterfront edge, that 4-foot fall protection requirement is also required. And then in trenching and excavation work that comes from construction, the same requirement of 4 feet exists there as well. And what we're really speaking of here is in terms of a standard guardrail system, in terms of the primary means of fall protection in order to prevent employees from falling over. In the general industry electrical industry, we see that workers working on poles or towers or similar structures have also have the requirement of tying off and using some type of fall arrest system when they have the potential to fall 4 or more feet above the ground. Fall protection in construction is more complicated than the general industry. And just as a reminder to brush up on fall protection, we have 3 primary categories. We have fall restraint, like guardrails. We have a positioning system device, like vertical wells or columns or poles. And we have fall arrest systems, like a full body harness attached to a shock absorbing lanyard. And generally speaking, in the construction industry, the general fall protection requirement is 6 feet. And so whenever a construction worker has the potential to fall more than 6 feet, then we say, we need to look at one of these 3 categories of fall protection. Now, you may be thinking, well, I don't work in construction, okay, or I don't work in general industry. So let's put this into perspective. If you look at the OSHA regulations and you were to read their scope and application, the fall protection standards pertain to the work that an employee is doing, not necessarily the exact industry that they are in. So let's define construction from an OSHA perspective. OSHA defines construction as construction, alteration, and or repair, including painting and decoration. And I understand that you're not supposed to define a word and then use that word in its own definition like OSHA did, but although that may be comical, we need to further elaborate on construction. So construction is not necessarily maintenance or repair. So Maintenance and repair things or that type of work tends to fall under the general industry scope of things. So if you think about construction work, think about something you're designing, something that you're possibly installing, something that's new that wasn't there before. Okay, so put that into perspective, and hopefully that makes some more sense to you. And so as we look at that, I want you to distinguish between the two primary fall protection standards here. So firstly, we have general industry at 4 feet. Then we have construction, and the general requirement for construction work is 6 feet. So what many companies do, instead of saying, okay guys, if you are painting at 6 feet, tie off, or if you're not painting, you're doing something different, if you're doing maintenance or repair work, it's 4 feet. What they do is they adopt a policy and they say, well, everything is going to be everything is going to be 4 feet or more. So whenever an employee has the potential to fall 4 or more feet, the company says that's when you need to tie off. And this seems to work for a lot of companies because taking the more stringent standard of the two really helps out in a way that isn't confusing to employees. And so that's going to end the second module of fall protection. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me and we can discuss them. Have a great day.